Welcome inside the studios of CAS for the 7th edition of the Kean Sports Show with John and Rich. John Mastice, Richard Zeller in the studios on this Thursday afternoon, the Thursday before Thanksgiving. And I got the big star in the house today. It's my co-host, Richard Zeller, who had an article written about him like 10 times longer than the one that was about me.
Stupid. I appreciate you, John, but your article was just as awesome.
Nah, man, you got to check out this dude's article. This girl, first of all, whoever wrote it did a phenomenal job.
Yes, shout out to Natalie.
She did a phenomenal job. It was like, if I put it on Word, it probably would have went about 10 pages. Went over like every show and just awesomeness. But now I got to ask you real quick.
Okay.
I acquired a picture from Rob with you in like a full pink jumpsuit suit. It looked like what are you?
Hold on, it was a pink sweatshirt and pink sweatpants. It was not a jumpsuit. It was not a onesie like I saw comments on the girl from ABC.
It almost was.
It just matched, and it wasn't even two of the same types of pink.
Dude,
I woke up. I was listening to old Cameron, old Jim Jones, old Dipset music, and pink was the mood. It's better than feeling blue, right? And looking blue.
It's true. But,
why is Rob out here gossiping about my outfits?
I mean,
hopefully he gets one of this one, so I got this one too.
I got a good laugh out of it. I don't know.
You can't be afraid to break style barriers.
Was that a style barrier that wasn't broken yet? I guess it was.
Apparently so.
All right, let's get right into it after that. See, I just had to give it back to Rich real quick after last week.
No, you're good.
But
you're
for
good.
real.
I love the outfit. You'll see me wearing pink again.
But for real, go check out the article. It's on culturehub.com.
With a K.
Yes, with a K. ECAC's men's soccer. So we're going to start off with the only fall sport that's still going, which is men's soccer. And Peter John has his squad in the ECAC semifinals. They play Stevenson on Saturday, and the other semifinal is Widener against Muhlenberg. So Kean beat Hunter in the first round 5-0, which isn't shocking because they beat Hunter 7-3 earlier in the season. Felipe Lucas, 2 goals. Danny Guillen, 2 assists. Kovac, Scarella, I couldn't say the name, but I said it earlier today like 3 times. Scrolla, I think it is.
Wait, how do you think it said?
Dude, I don't know. I said it perfectly 3 times earlier today, and now, because I want to get it right. Skrlja, I think. Maybe the J's silent.
Skrlja?
Everyone by this time knows who we're talking about. If you
Hopefully,
know
spelled
that.
out.
And Blandon added the other 3 goals. Kozlman 5 saves in the shutout. They beat Hunter 5-0. Then after that, they played Arcadia, who was the host, even though they were the 2 seed. Kean was the 1 seed, but they played the host Arcadia. 1-0 win. The lone goal scored by Max Acosta. I should mention Calvin Carbajal did not play in the opener against Hunter. He had a red card against Rowan, so he had to sit out that game. And Coach Falloon said there was a big difference in the way they played, definitely in the midfield area. I mean, he said they didn't play as good. I believe him. He would know. Still, 5-0, you'll take it, you know. And then Acosta with the lone goal against Arcadia in the second round, 1-0, they win. That was his team-leading 9th goal of the season for Acosta. How about that, Rich? Man's on fire.
Yeah, and soccer is not always easy to score consistently, so.
No, that's for sure. So, yeah, Peter John, he had quotes about that game. He said Arcadia played extremely conservative. They only had one, it shows in the box score, they only had 1 shot on net the entire game. It was a good one, he said. So Kozlman stood up tall, but very conservative. Kean had possession most of the game, so they get the win over Arcadia. Now, Stevenson, the host of the ECAC semis and finals. It's Kean, Stevenson, Widener, Muhlenberg on Saturday. Stevenson beat Westminster PA 3-2 and Wilkes 2-0 to get to the semifinals. So, should be good.
Shout out to the men's soccer team.
Yeah, they're the last team going, right, man? All eyes on them for the fall. And then, Stevenson 14-6-3 this season. Went 4-3-1 in the MAC Commonwealth Conference. So they're going up against a good team. And, once you get to the semifinals, ECAC, it's competitive. There's good teams. These are the teams that just missed out on the tournament, and now they're playing, second tier, but they're not. They're very, and a lot of these teams could beat these tournament teams. I got automatic bids out of conferences that aren't good, so this is really good soccer. So Saturday, do you know what time the Kean? 5 o'clock, right? 5 o'clock is the semifinal for Kean versus Stevenson. If they win that, they'll play the next day. The next day against the winner of Widener and Muhlenberg. It's in Maryland, apparently. I didn't know that, Rich.
What? I don't know where sometimes for these schools. What's the name of the school?
Stevenson.
Yeah, I would not guess Maryland.
I know Stevens. I don't know Stevenson. So, but
what's exciting is to get to play all over different states and keep going.
Cool.
And regardless of what kind of tournament it is, it's still a tournament. It still counts towards your experience, and the kids get to keep playing.
And Coach Falloon gets to keep coaching, and I get to keep talking to him and that's the most important thing because he is awesome to talk to.
When are you gonna go on one of these trips out of state with the teams?
Man, ask Rob. We'll get to it later. He went to Vermont with the field hockey team.
You don't want to go there. It was snowing. It looked like.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that later because he told me a couple stories. But all right. Speaking of the NJAC though, 2 NJAC teams are still left in the NCAA tournament. Rowan and Montclair. Let's start with Rowan. They beat Mary Washington in overtime. In the second round, where Vandermark scored the game winner, their top scorer. Coincidentally, he picked up his 8th red card. I believe it was 8th, right? Yellow. Yellow, which equals a game suspension. So he is suspended in the Sweet 16 round against, or is it the Elite 8 round? Or is it 8 teams left or 16 teams? 8. It was 8. So I'm calling it the Elite 8 round. Elite 8 against Amherst. He's not going to be playing, so Rowan won't have their top scorer. They also beat Salva Regina in the first round. Montclair, the other NJAC team, still in it. In the first round, won 2-0, and then upset Franklin and Marshall, number 4, in PKs 4-2. They move on to play Kenyon in Kenyon on Saturday in the Elite 8 round. So the NJAC is really repping men's soccer very well, Rich. And I think it kind of speaks to the level of play that Kean was playing against all season.
Yeah, like you said, and you got to keep facing these teams, and it helps out with the strength of schedule.
Of course.
But do you want to be in a division with all these strong teams, or would you rather be in a division with teams you could just beat up?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to be in. Can we pick the middle? But but I mean, if you're going to be in the team, the conference with the strong teams, and NJAC's good all around. They have good teams in every sport. Rowan, you see Rowan and Montclair getting deep into the tournament. Maybe that opens the eyes to the committee who selects these at-large bids, and down the road they see Kean, maybe not as good as record as some of these other teams, but they look at the NJAC and say, well, they played some really good competition. They could help them down the road for future selections getting into the NCAA tournament. So I think you win and lose with it, but yeah, it's the NJAC. Anything, So you good with soccer? Move on to field hockey?
Yeah, I mean, I think field hockey is the topic
that
people want to hear.
Okay, let's go. Field hockey. I didn't want to start
I want to hear these Vermont stories. I want to hear...
Yeah, he has some good ones. But, I didn't want to start the show with field hockey again because I feel like we start it every time. And I want to start
now we're capstoning now.
Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, because Kean lost to Middlebury in the Elite 8 round of the NCAA tournament, 4-1. The lone goal was scored by Jakar Jackson, assisted by Peyton Mann, but unfortunately, that's how the season comes to an end. They gave up a goal 50 seconds in. They gave up 3 goals in the first quarter. They were outshot something like 14-5. But after the first quarter, they played with Middlebury. It was only 1-1. If you eliminate the first quarter, unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Not how it works, John.
And
but I find it interesting. Look, Jakara Jackson is the one who scored a goal, and you talked about her a lot this season as being, an X factor and making that team go.
I did say that.
And I think we were watching the first Middlebury game together
against Babson,
and they were down, and it was just you could feel the excitement, like, oh, hopefully the other team could pull this off, help out Kean a little bit. And then we watched the first Kean game together too.
Yeah,
and they smoked them. What was the first team they played?
Endicott.
Endicott, yeah.
Yeah, and I talked to Coach Leslie on the phone today before the show. She said it was probably their most complete game of the season against Endicott, and you could see it. We were watching between the basketball.
It was 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, and then Endicott scored 1.
3-1. 3-1. Yep.
Okay, 3 goals.
3-1, but it was. I mean, and that's against a really good Endicott team who's nationally ranked. It was a very hard-fought win. Unfortunately, they got put up in the Middlebury bracket, which is the 2-time defending national champions.
And we were talking about why that was the result of that Rowan game.
Probably, I would say, Now, Rowan obviously didn't luck out. They lost to Lynchburg in the second round. So Kean was the only, and this is insane, TCNJ and Rowan both lost in the second round. They didn't even make it to the third round like Kean did. Kean was the last NJAC team left in the tournament. And, it's impressive. Listen, I've made my case before. Kean was picked 5th in the preseason in the NJAC, and they ended up as the final 8 teams in the country. How impressive is that, Richard?
Well, I mean, what was your case? What are you arguing?
Sorry.
They were a good team. No one's.
This was on the show that we didn't get to upload. Coach Leslie LaFrance should have won NJAC Coach of the Year, and I'm not going to hold back on that opinion. I know the TCNJ coach. Listen, TCNJ's great. They've been great for so long. But when TCNJ was picked first preseason, they finished first. But you have Coach LaFrance and Kean picked 5th, and they finished not just second in the conference at the end of the regular season. They finished 8th in the country.
Do you think it's easier to exceed expectations than to live up to expectations? It's kind of like the argument we had there.
I think, yeah. So I think it's harder to live up to them in most cases. But when you exceed them by this much that Kean did, and you bring up a good point, but when you exceed them by this much, you pick 5th to finish in your conference. Don't forget, there's 6 teams in the NJAC. 5th.
So basically they're just picked like you're just going to be around the bottom.
They didn't just finish 2nd at the end of the regular season. They finished 8th in the country. That's just and she didn't win. Did
they take the NCAA results into consideration, or is it just regular season?
I was just about to say that. You bring up another good point. I know it's NJAC Coach of the Year, but and she went 5-1 with the only loss to TCNJ, 3-2 in overtime. I'm sorry. I can't understand why she didn't win. Once you get past the first, second, and third, there's a lot of confidence in the voters, like who's going to finish first, second, and third. Once you get to 4, 5, and 6, you're like, well, any of these teams could end up last. So when you put Kean at 5th, they didn't think they were going to be good. They didn't think they were going to compete with these teams. The only regular season loss they had was TCNJ in overtime when they were ranked number 1 in the country.
So do you think if they win that game, maybe she wins Coach of the Year?
No doubt in my mind.
Okay, then you got to win those games.
Yeah, I understand. I understand your point.
No, I'm not making any point. I'm just trying to see both sides of it. Of course, I'm going to support, saying she's a great woman, great coach, and obviously we're Kean students, so of course we want to see the person. I'm just trying to think about it just as unbiased as possible.
That's what I was thinking when you brought up, is it harder to exceed expectations or live up to them? That's a great question, and I agree that it's harder to live up to them, especially when you have the expectations that TCNJ has. I just think how much Kean exceeded them. I think I make the case that did
they put a ranking? Like, did they show where she ended up placing?
No.
Or did they just announce the winner?
No, they didn't.
Oh, they just announced the winner?
I'm sure it had to be second.
Okay.
Yeah, it had to be. But yeah, that's just my beef. I mean, we know she had a great season. That's all that matters. Finished top 8 team in the country. Great stuff. For the stats against Endicott, we were talking about it. 3-1 decision. They win it. 2 goals by Rachel Mills, the other by Peyton Mann. Such a dominant performance for sure. But hey, you ran into a buzzsaw in Middlebury. Nothing you could do. They might win it for a 3rd straight season. The Final Four is going to be Johns Hopkins, Franklin, and Marshall. That's the 3rd time these 2 teams are playing this season. They're both from the Centennial Conference, so they'll rematch. Franklin and Marshall beat TCNJ in the 2nd round, which had to be shocking. I mean, at home, TCNJ, I'm sure, wasn't expecting to lose that. They lost 4-3 in overtime. And in the other semifinal, it's going to be Middlebury and Salisbury, 2 top teams in the country all season long, so it should be good. Salisbury, I would expect to put up a closer fight than Kean did. Nothing against Kean, but Salisbury is a very good team. Kean played them really early in first game of the season, so you can't really judge it off any of that. But should be 2 good semifinals. And again, congrats to Coach Leslie and all the players. Phenomenal season, top 8 in the country. I can speak for Rich. Rich and I had a great time covering them all season. Yeah. So that's good stuff.
And then how do you go into next season? When you got now you got to replace Patron.
Yeah,
you got to replace Mills. But the good thing as well is most of the team will be there still.
Yeah, most of the team will be there.
You only have to replace 2 seniors.
They lose Jenna and Rachel, who obviously is tough losses, but is that that 2 or just the 2, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So it was just Rachel and Jenna. You get Melissa back, obviously. She's tied the single season goal record. Stuck on 28. Too bad she couldn't get 29, but great season for her. She's back. Obviously, they have Belly coming back in net. Aaron and Taylor back in defense. So
and you're getting Peyton Mann back, freshman. You're saying the Stumps, freshman.
Jakara.
Jakara's a sophomore. So you're getting a lot of key players still as underclassmen. Well, next year Jakara will be an upperclassman. Junior.
Sorry, I'm like choking over here. Okay. But Jakara's she has a good team coming back. She is, and it's so young. Like Jakara's sophomore.
Taylor Hutchins, who was holding down the middle all season.
Peyton was a freshman this year, so all good stuff, Rich. And you bring up a great point. Yeah, she's gonna have a good team, competitive team for years to come.
See, so next year now when they're gonna have the target on them and the expectations, now we gotta see if she lives up to it, and if she does, then you go back to this argument and see how could you not win Coach of the Year this time.
Rich, always with the good points. I mean, that's why he's on.
That's all I do from the side.
I just provide the stats, and he provides the very, very deep insight.
I'm just thinking, right? Because next year now there's gonna be expectations.
You're right.
Because now next year after the season, where do you think they end up ranked in the preseason poll?
That's a good question.
Because I think it doesn't really matter too much about the recruiting class. Because again, majority of the team is back.
I mean. And not that it matters on the preseason. I guess it does when you're talking about Coach of the Year at the end of the year. So
you brought it up.
Yeah. I think TCNJ obviously will still be one, just out of respect. It'll be.
Do you think out of respect matters? It's not about respect. It's about.
No, I think it does. I think it does.
Think respect does?
I don't think it matters, but I think it matters to the voters. So, yeah, I think they'll be TCNJ will be one. They're not losing that.
So is Rowan or Kean too?
I think that's what it's between Rowan and Kean. Rowan loses a good amount of players this season, and Kean only loses 2, be it 2 key players. There'll be 2 or 3. Let's say 2. I mean, down the road we'll find out. Long time from now, but I'll say 2, Rich. Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering.
Yeah. I mean, it could go anyway, but yeah, great season for field hockey. Tremendous time covering them, and we're gonna move on because I saw Coach Chris Swenson today in the Rob's office because that's just where I hang out and annoy him. But wait! Before we go,
so Rowan, real quick though, Rowan's only losing 3 players.
Okay, 3.
Only 3.
Were they good?
Casey Wagner, Bridget Boyle, and Morgan Novak.
I don't know. Novak and Wagner was pretty good. I remember announcing them, so it'll be close.
Yeah.
Rob went to Vermont with the field hockey team, and
a vacation.
Well, if you ask him, it wasn't a vacation. All week he was just complaining about the cold. He was like, "Oh, it's gonna be so cold. It's gonna be ridiculous." Well, it ended up being 20 degrees, snow on the ground. I think he enjoyed it because he wouldn't stop talking about the apple cider and the hot chocolate in the press box. Was it even a press box? Was it? Sort of. Okay.
Yeah. The accommodations weren't up to par.
No, he said it was a great experience. I mean,
it was. I remember we saw snow on the ground. It was just like here when you're at the field, you see buildings, other fields.
You see mountains here.
At least from the camera view, I didn't get to see the whole field, but from the camera view, the angle, it was just grass behind it, or not even grass, just like plains
and mountains.
No,
but yeah, he said it was
different experience.
Yeah, quote unquote, very upscale area.
Yeah. They should have took you. You are the voice of the field hockey team.
Yeah. I probably would have been complaining about the cold more than Rob.
Next year.
Yeah. Next year, hopefully they don't go to Middlebury. All right. So yeah, we're gonna go to swimming.
Swimming in the winter time.
Yeah. So Chris Swenson dropped by Rob's office, and I was there this morning. So I asked him. So they're obviously tough go in the end, Jack, but he's building the program up. We already know that. I asked him just give me some records that were broken from team this year. Christina Sullivan, she broke the 1,000 record twice against Queens and Montclair, and she also broke her mile record against Rowan that she set in Mets last season. So that's very cool. Cyan Seeger, who is a volleyball player, she set the 4th fastest 50 breaststroke in school history with only 4 days of training. I thought I had to add that tidbit in there just because, like, she went from volleyball to swimming, and then she's, like, 4th fastest 50 breaststroke. I kind of feel like that's insane. I don't know if that's – I give credit to Don or Chris for Don recruiting crazy athletes like that are getting her on the team. But, credit to both, I guess. So, that's swimming. You have anything to add there?
It's swimming, man. In the wintertime, we good. I want to get out there and try a lap.
Yeah. Let's move on to volleyball. Obviously, we talked about their season ending, but Zoe Strzelecki was named AVCA D3 All-American. She's the first 2-time All-American in school history.
What a recruit, right?
Absolutely. And, she was also NJAC Player of the Year, as we said last week. She finished with 445 points, 376 kills, 118 blocks in 33 matches, 3.84 points per set, 3.24 kills per set, 1.02 blocks per set, and a 376 hitting percentage, which is actually insane.
I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, right?
Yes, and Coach Perkins now has had all 3 All-Americans in Kean history. Jessie Larkin, Zoe Strzelecki, and Sarah Ridgway. I think that's just a testament to just how great his recruiting is. He goes all over the country for these girls, and he brings them to Kean across the country, and they just perform, and it's a testament to Don how well he recruits and his eye for talent. Because, you could go to these places that are a hotbed for volleyball, but you got to have the eye and the know that these players are going to perform when you bring them back to New Jersey to play for you, and they do. It's a testament.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and now these families can keep up with their children here through your voice.
How does lead back to me?
No, I'm just saying though, but remember we were talking last week about how the family came up. But that is important, and it does help with the recruiting because
you're right.
The families don't get to see them, and this girl has such a wonderful year and a wonderful season. So through your voice, they got to partake. I'm not trying to hype it, but they get to partake in that. This is an amazing moment for this, not only the school but her,
absolutely,
and her future.
KeanAthletics.com, definitely everyone who works for that, and Asia's department, obviously OCIS. So awesome stuff, and Don does a great job. Just wanted to get that in, but first 2-time All-American. That's insane. That's crazy.
She's a sophomore?
No, she's junior.
Junior?
Yeah, she'll be a senior next season.
So you got one more year. Now she has a chance to be the first 3-time.
That would make sense. All right.
But this is fun.
Yeah.
It was a good year. I only got to call one of those games, but it was pretty exciting. So I saw how you did have all the fun with that.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I made a joke. I was like, just sitting down with Rob. I was like, why don't we have Don in the studio today? He could probably, and for anyone who doesn't know Don, he's a phenomenal, great guy to talk to. Love talking to him. He could probably do this show with none of us in the room for an hour by himself talking about volleyball. And if I would be there, every word, I'd be entrenched because everything he says is it matters. You can't miss one word or you'll miss the whole conversation. The guy's
You're giving him a podcast idea for the offseason. Kean volleyball.
Kean volleyball, or just
volleyball with Coach Perkins.
Yes. So if you're listening, you're the best coach. Football. Let's go to football because
now, John, you made your prediction last week. You weren't close to any prediction, but
I did.
You did get one prediction right.
I did get one prediction right.
You did get one. One that was probably the most random one.
It was kind of random. It was kind of like the trend.
But based off the stats you've seen.
I said 27-24 Kean would win. They lost 40-12 to Montclair. I don't think the score was indicative of how – I think it was a little closer than the score, but it was still a bad loss. But
your prediction?
My prediction was Kean would probably screw themselves with a messed up extra point. And I didn't say Logan would miss the extra point. I didn't say it would be botched. I would say somewhere along the lines – I feel like every game I've called, they've missed an extra point. And I keep saying missed. They've botched an extra point. Whether it's missed or it's the snap doesn't get there. And that's an issue that they got to correct because, they missed. They didn't just miss one. They missed two. They scored 2 touchdowns. Yeah, one was brought back for 2 points the other way.
And when we were sitting there, as soon as I brought up the score, it was I forget what Montclair's score was.
It was close. It was only 7-6.
I forget what Montclair's score was, but Kean had 6. And you're like, look, Rich, I told you. And I'm like, hold on. I was like, maybe they had 2 field goals. And then we look, and
it was only 7-6 at that point. And if you're in a closer game, that's something they got to fix for next season. But let's talk about the good because they went from 1-9 to 3-7. Nobody's going to argue that's an improvement, and that's a testament to the coaches they have there working their butts off. Coach Garrett, Coach Galante, Coach Kreider, Coach McCool and obviously all the players getting it right. To go from 1 to 3, that's a big step. Let's get it back to 500 or better next season. Coach Kreider has defense going at certain points this season up front. The O-line got a lot better. It's also a really young group that Coach Galante leads, which has to be very excited about, how they're going to improve over the next couple seasons. It's a very young O-line group. You can build an offense behind that, and I think it's going to be looking good. You had two good quarterbacks this season. Both, played at different times of the year. Broccoletti played earlier in the year. Taylor performed very well at the end. It's going to be a good battle going into next season because they're both coming back. They're both sophomores this season, juniors next season. Tyra had another pretty good day against Montclair. 10 for 25, 127, 2 touchdowns in the air, interception. Also added 30 yards on the ground. He's a dual threat quarterback. We know that. I think that helps him next season. Rich asked me, who do you like better? I mean, I can't say. I don't want to put either down. I like that Tyree's a dual threat quarterback. Anthony, he definitely has a better arm. I think both have their strengths, and like every quarterback, they both have their weaknesses. I think it will be interesting to see who gets most of the playing time next season. But I think the good thing is Coach Garrett has options at the quarterback position, and that's not that's a lot of coaches can't say that. It's either one or you're dying with that one. Coach Garrett has 2 options that you're going to see going into next season. Rich, you want to add anything to that?
No, I mean, again, I don't know if is it a distraction to have possibly 2 quarterbacks going in?
No.
Go in with that without having a set quarterback, whereas you thought you were coming into the season with a set quarterback?
Okay, so I don't think it's a distraction for the whole team. I don't think it's a distraction. I think it's a little annoying just because, if you're a receiver and you like catching balls from, I don't know, QB A, but your other receiver likes catching balls from QB B, but you want to practice who you're gonna get more balls from, and I think that's the only issue if you're playing your A team or B team. You want to know who you're catching balls from, what kind of routes you need to run in order for him to hit you. I think that kind of plays into it, if that makes any sense.
And with the program being revitalized, I guess you would say, right? Because going from 1 to 3 wins.
Why not?
Do you think not having an established quarterback still at this point hurts? Do you think do you still try to recruit?
No,
someone that could possibly start?
Well, I'm sure he's always recruiting.
Well, I meant possibly a freshman starter.
I think
they got those questions going into next season at the most key position.
If you have a freshman that you're recruiting, or you have someone that you want to bring in that's going to be a freshman, and he's good, you bring him in. It doesn't matter.
I mean, regardless, great job by the coach this season. Mm-hmm. Great job. Mm-hmm. You went from 1 to 3 wins. But your key position, and you still have a question mark at this point.
Yeah, you're 100% right that it's still a question mark, but you know that you have 2 possible solutions that are there. It's not like you have one guy, and if this guy doesn't work out, it's done. You have 2 guys. You're going to battle for it, see who wins it out. If you're going to go with the 2 QB system, I mean, my personal opinion, which doesn't matter at all, I don't like 2 QB systems. I know, but whoever wins it, that's your guy. If it doesn't work out, you have another guy right behind him. You want to go 2 QB system? They both play. Tyra can run. Anthony can throw. It's you have solutions there that can, give you an established quarterback going forward. It's not like they have nothing there. But you're right about it not being established. You're right.
And when you look at the roster and see, the seniors leaving or weaknesses or strengths, where do you think he'll focus his recruiting on in the offseason? Just in your best, I guess.
Definitely in the front 7 because you're losing Jamel Daniels and Deshaun Reed, and those are 2 big losses up front. You want players to replace those guys because Daniels and Reed are monsters. So definitely look there. Everywhere else, they have talent. Maybe another receiver. I'm about to name my key players coming back to watch next season, but and he's on it. Dante Jameson's very good. We'll look for him to step up, but you can never have enough offensive weapons. I think Jesse Asari leaving is definitely big. You're going to need another running back. Jesse's only a freshman this season, so you still have him. Crawford's gone, so you definitely need another running back, and he knows. This is no new news to Coach Garrett, but definitely. Can I name my key players coming back for next season?
I'm sorry. I was just interested in your insight. I'm sure people listening were too. So I figured I would try to pull out of you your thoughts. But go ahead. Yeah. So we talk about the recruiting. So now go ahead. Talk about the players coming back now.
So my players to watch for next season. Players that, stood out that we're hoping that will be back next season. Purvis Hatcher, Anthony Bassani, Keon Taylor, and Nas Neal all coming back in the secondary. I love what I saw from those four. Good stuff, and if you keep that core together, I think you're going to see some good results on defense. Tyrann Anthony, we touched on that at QB. Find which one is going to work. Find both, I guess, if you can make it work. Good to see those two back. Miles Toppin, weapon for any quarterback. Guy's a monster.
6'2", right?
Yeah, he's a monster. Great hands, great athletic ability. He's not the fastest, but we saw him. Once he hits the sideline, he could get it going, and he's a matchup nightmare for any corner. He towers over him. He's a tough matchup. Dante Jameson, I already said it, talented receiver and return man, showed some special flashes of big playmaking. He was only a freshman this year. I see a lot of bright things ahead in that kid's future. He is a playmaker waiting to happen. Let's say Dietrich Chumbauer was all over the field this season on defense. He'll be back for his senior year, even better. Love what I've seen from that kid. So he'll be back. And, of course, the best player on the defense all season, or one of the best you could say with Deshaun Reed, is back for one more year. Dante Campazoli, he should get all NJAC first-team defense again. 87 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 resulted in a defensive touchdown against WPU, and 1 fumble recovery and 2 interceptions. If that's not first-team stats, I don't know what is. A man's a monster. So he'll be back for another season. And freshmen, 2 freshmen that were on the O-line this year, and I talked about it earlier with Coach Galante. He's having them back next season, and he's building this young offensive line that I think is going to be key in their offensive success. Obviously, it all starts with the O-line. Bobo Luco and Kevin.
That just sounds like an offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm. Dude, he's huge, right? He's a monster, right? He's a monster.
He has a name like he was destined to be an offensive lineman.
Nobody's messing with that guy. Bobo Luco and Kevin Hines both back. Look for those two. Maybe not next season, but junior and senior, they're gonna be good players. And Coach Galante loves both of them. I talked to him before the season about them because they had some injuries up front earlier in the season where those two had to step in. And you called the game against Del Val where they looked lost. As we went on through the season, they got better. And obviously, it's from the playing time. You give them 3 more years, Coach Galante is gonna have these guys playing, man. He's gonna have That's going to be, I'm telling you, that is going to be the big part of their offense. If you can build the O-line, you could do a ton of things on offense. And do you agree?
No, I agree with you. The O-line is the key to anything. Mm-hmm. Key to giving your quarterback time, key to the running game. Like you said, it all starts at the line.
Absolutely. And all
what?
All conference. I was like mid-cough there. All conference teams come out tomorrow. You can check it out on the NJAC website. And we'll, of course, talk about the all-conference selections in 2 weeks when we get back from our Thanksgiving break.
Can't wait.
Yeah, and Salisbury and Wesley represent the NJAC in football in the NCAA tournament. Salisbury got the automatic bid from the NJAC. Wesley secured the at-large. Salisbury won the NJAC by beating Wesley 45-38 earlier in the season, and that was Wesley's only loss. And they had enough good wins that they were able to secure the at-large. So Salisbury, let me look this up real quick because I don't have it on me. Who's Salisbury play again?
SUNY Maritime.
SUNY Maritime. And
how many different SUNYs is there?
There's a ton. I don't know. And, of course, this NCAA.com thing won't load. And Wesley is playing, I think I remember, Farmingdale State? Framingham. That was close. Framingham State. Oh, there it is. Okay, Salisbury's a 1 seed in their bracket. They could make it to the Final Four. I mean, why not? And let's see, Wesley, they would have to play Del Val or Bridgewater if they win. And Mount Union is the 1 seed, so good luck with that. Wesley has a long road. But that all gets started this Saturday. So, NJAC in the NCAA football tournament. Cool stuff. Let's move it to what we did this weekend, Rich.
Women's basketball.
Yes. That was really fun. So women's basketball started their season off with the Kean Classic tournament. They won the first game against Lancaster Bible, 79-69. Then lost in the championship game of the tournament to Albright, who is now 4-0. They lost 78-64. Had a 2-point halftime lead, but just couldn't keep the height of Albright down in the second half. And I have an opinion, but so Albright.
There's multiple opinions on that game.
Albright had 18 second chance points on 18 offensive rebounds. Kean, you could see they're outsized, and I don't know how it's going to compare in the NJAC. I'd imagine that most games that they're not going to have the height advantage. That means they're going to have to shoot really well. They can shoot well. I mean, they didn't shoot great over the weekend, but they have shooters. You can outshoot teams. You could beat them not once in a while, but you could do it a lot. But when it comes down to the big games, you're going to have to rebound, and I didn't see much of that over the weekend. Rich, you agree or not?
No, absolutely, John. Albright had 55 rebounds to Kean's 31. But Gabby Boggs, she had 18 rebounds. Quiet. Didn't even notice it. She was just taking down all boards.
Yeah.
But for that game and for Kean, without Terrell there, I think Kean wins that game.
Mm-hmm.
She only played 16 minutes, but those 16 minutes were completely dominant. And every time Kean started having momentum, they just stuck Terrell back in.
Yeah, and
ended everything.
They did a great job on her in the first. If you didn't know who we're talking about, it's like the best player in Albright.
Yeah, Deja Terrell.
Yeah, she's very tall.
Hold on, let me read her stat line real quick. This is in 16 minutes, John.
Yeah,
she
go ahead.
16 minutes, 19 points, 10 rebounds, a block, an assist, 7 for 11, field goal, 2 for 4 on 3-pointers.
And just a note on that, 17 of those 19 points were scored in the third quarter alone. She was in foul trouble most of the first half.
They took her out right away.
Mm-hmm. And she came in and dominated. But really, she wasn't the only one to dominate the boards. Because when she was out, Kean was still getting out rebounds.
That's what I said. Gabby Boggs, 18 rebounds.
Exactly. So I think this is going to be an issue for them down the road. They can shoot their way out of it. They have good shooters. Shannon McCoy, Sarah Olivero was shooting very good. Pace Lange, obviously, I'll get to her in a second. They have good shooters. It's just tough to win games like that every week when you're outsized. But listen, I think they'll be fine. I don't think it's something that's going to kill them, but it's definitely something to worry about.
It's early in the season. You're still getting readjusted to the shot, game speed. I'm sure Shannon McCoy is not going to shoot 3 for 15, 1 for 10 all season.
No. But, you bring up a good point. Obviously, it's early in the season. Everyone's getting their footing. Someone who already had their footing, though, someone who impressed me, Pace Lange, she's a senior, obviously, one of the smallest players on the court. She had 6 offensive rebounds over the weekend in the 2 games. 5 against Lancaster Bible. She had 1 more against Albright. She had 10 rebounds altogether. Is it me or is it that impressive for a point guard?
She had a point at the end of the second half where she scored it was like
9 straight points.
For Kean. She was just cutting through the hoop, cutting and just doing whatever she wanted.
She can also fill it up, by the way. She's got 24 points against Lancaster and 17 against Albright. But I thought the rebounding was the most impressive thing. I mean, isn't that impressive for a point guard?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, yeah, it's impressive. I was gonna say it's like a positionless game these days.
Yeah, you're right. She is short though. I mean,
she's short, but she was still like 5'7". Was it right? 5'6", 5'7"? Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So in the terms of other players on the court, she wasn't completely outmatched.
No.
Other than really, like I said.
Well, against Albright, she was.
Yeah, Albright. They had a couple players that were, over 6 foot tall.
But yeah, definitely impressive start to her season. Obviously,
because you gotta remember who her matchup was. Her matchup was like 5'2".
Yeah, definitely.
What was her name?
What was it? E-Ways.
Yeah, E-Way.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know how I remember all these names, but I guess I'm pretty good, right, Rich?
John, I just told you I'm going to nominate you for Broadcaster of the Year. Once I find out the website where I could do it. I just learned about this morning, that there's a college Broadcaster of the Year. As one of our professors was telling us, I guess, in the past, he knew somebody that won at Seton Hall. So immediately I thought, well, where do I got to write a letter to or petition or protest?
Check this man out.
Until this man gets, it's going to be like how you're for Coach LaFrance?
Yes.
I'm going to be there for you fighting the
Awesome, man.
I'm not just hyping it up. I truly believe you are a great talent. You have a great voice.
I really appreciate it. And, yeah. So, yeah, but what were we on? Women's basketball. They play tomorrow night, which is Friday. They're home against Brooklyn. Rich will not be there. He will be throwing people out of bars, but
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You said they're playing the women playing.
Yeah,
Brooklyn
one player tomorrow. Yeah. So I'll have Kevin, me in with me, and I will.
You should get Kevin up in here.
Yeah, we should get him. We'll definitely get him here before the end of the year. Yeah, Kevin and I will have the call at 6:00 on KaneAthletics.com. Kane, Brooklyn, Harwood Arena. Let's get it going. NJAC play starts Tuesday the 26th. Both men's and women's are at New Jersey City. We'll get to men's in a second. Actually, we'll get to men's right now. That's a pretty good segue. So, yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, when the men's and women's play NJAC play at home, they do it on the same night. They do it back-to-back. So, student body has a long night in the gym rooting. So, good stuff. The first game, home game, NJAC home game is, I know it's against Rutgers Newark. What's the December 4th, right? Wednesday, yeah. So that's when both men's and women's will have their home opener for NJAC play. And Rich, Kevin, and I will be on that call. But let's get to men's basketball because I got some thoughts on them. And I haven't even called a game yet, but I have watched them. And they started off the season 1-3, but all 3 losses have come from runs they've allowed in the second half. I want to go over them because we're seeing a lot of good stuff from Coach. And obviously a young team, lots of talent. But the second half has been adventurous for them. And it hasn't all been bad, but let's start with Newman. And Rich can add his comments for this game because he called it. They ended the game. Newman ended the game on a 24-14 run in the final 6 minutes. They won 89-75. What did you see in the final, all right, let's say 10 minutes from Kane that, you know, they were close the whole game and then Newman took control? What did you see from him?
Yeah, it was just a matter of just Newman ready to finish that and close out the game. When Kane is right there, you just start. I don't know how to sound, like, I don't want to make them sound really bad, you know, but Newman just, I guess, just amped it up at the very end. And like you said, it's a trend we've seen in these games that followed. So you got to learn to close out the game. Exactly. Maybe Kane's not there yet.
No, well,
and we're seeing they're not there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But it could just be this early season.
I have an opinion why, which I'll get to after this.
Oh, you have an opinion why?
I do.
So you analyze this.
I do. I came ready, man. I'm throwing the opinion. Now, they're not all right, obviously, but they could be.
Let's hear your opinion, though.
Let's get back to.
You gonna go the other way?
Yeah. No, I want to go back to the last 3 games now, because good stuff happened when they went to Moravian for the Tip-Off Classic. It was the opposite. Big second half comeback. They outscored Moravian 31-12 in the final 18 minutes. They only gave up 12 points in the final 18. And then Jalen Jamison, buzzer beater to win it, 48-47. Good stuff. They're going to the finals, but the next day came, and they played Widener. Kane surrendered a 17-7 run over the final 6:29 of that game, lost 72-62. So again, bad to end the game. But again, side note, Jalen Jamison did not play that game. Obviously, reigning NJAC Rookie of the Year. I'm sure it had played a role, but second half, struggled again. Then last night, they played Stevens. They had the lead at halftime. They only trailed by 3 with 9:08 to play. Then, over the next 3 minutes, Kane proceeded to allow a 16-0 run that basically ended the game. So they would lose it 78-63. In the loss, you had 3 players go for double digits. Latane, Cooper, and Gunn. 2 players at 9 points with Jamison and Owens. But 16-0 run, second half. Again, you see that trend in the second half, that late in games that they're not being able to finish. Here's my opinion. I just think it's a young team. It's that simple. It's so loaded. It's loaded with freshmen and sophomores that haven't had the experience to know how to close out games yet. I think you give them a year or two, especially the freshmen, obviously. You look for Jamison to step up in those moments. Bam, he did. Buzzer beater. So you can see that, you know, Coach Hutch is going to get them experience in their freshman year, and they're going to be more clutch in the second half when, you know, these veteran teams that you're playing, they know how to step it up as a group. These freshmen, they just came together this year. They don't, you know, it's tough to put it together for a full 40 minutes. And I think you see it in the second half where they're just not ready to close out games yet. But I think that comes with the inexperience. Do you agree?
No, I was saying earlier about learning how to close out the game and game stamina. And like you said, they're freshmen. They're a young team. Basketball has a large jump in competition from whether it's high school to college or college to the pros. Because in high school, you're probably the one kid just running circles around everybody, dominating everything. And now you go to college where your talent's matched up and matched up across the board. And then you see that when they go to the NBA again, where it's like you were dominating college, but now you're going against grown men. So I think, like you said, it's a young team. It requires experience and the jump in competition, especially in basketball. You can't just go out there and run around everybody like you were before.
100% right. Yeah, definitely. And
that killer instinct, you got to have it. You got to close these games out.
Jalen Jamison had that, though.
Yeah.
Against Moravian. Got that buzzer beater. I don't know where I saw it, but I saw it online somewhere.
Oh, really?
Did you retweet it? Oh, he did retweet it. Okay.
Of course.
Rob on the Kean Athletics.
Like, if you're just not sure where you saw something, just say, hey, I saw it.
Yeah, it was probably Rob. Rob gets everything somehow, some way. So they got New Jersey City. That's their next game, which is their NJAC opener, Tuesday, November 26th. And then the Kobe, which is non-conference, Sunday, December 1st.
You said Kobe?
That's the college name, Kobe College. Yeah.
That's where they're gonna learn their killer instinct, because that's the man with it.
All right. No, that's it. It's actually Colby.
Oh, Colby.
C-O-L.
Okay.
C-O-L-B-Y.
The way you said that,
I know.
like Kobe.
Yeah. And then, like I said earlier, Rutgers Newark is the home opener for both men's and women's basketball. December 4th, Wednesday. Women's play at 6 and men's play at 8. Yeah, that's right. So that's cool. We talked a lot, man. No interviews. We went straight through. We had some good stuff.
So you said we're going on break. We got Thanksgiving coming up.
Yeah, we do.
What are you looking forward to doing for Thanksgiving? Sports, food?
Yeah, so
a little bit of
for me, I spend my Thanksgiving every year, I should say, just complaining about the Dallas Cowboys, because they make my life so much worse, and I have to watch them every Thanksgiving. I'll hope they win.
Who are they playing on Thanksgiving?
They got Buffalo this year, which is no rollover. I mean, I like
Who's
what
home?
Dallas always home on Thanksgiving. So, but I do like Josh Allen. Love Josh Allen, actually. I think he's a really good quarterback for Buffalo. He's got some weapons to throw to. Defense, they're good. They're good. They could play. Dak is having a phenomenal season. Coach Jason Garrett is Coach Jason Garrett is a terrible. I'm sorry, he's a bad coach. I don't know how.
He's what's holding you guys back
absolutely.
from Super Bowl?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know Super Bowl. It's not stretch, because I think if he had a competent coach and they had more wins, Dak would be an MVP candidate right now, because that's the type of number.
Like Bill Belichick with that roster.
Bill Belichick win with anyone, man. He can go on the streets of New York City, grab like 50 men off there, Super Bowl champs.
So question,
that's what he does.
Are you going to watch the game with your family members I met at that basketball game? John's wonderful family came out and supported him.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So my grandma and grandpa were like, we always listen to you announce the game, but what's it like when you're announcing it, like actually in the arena? I was like, I don't know. Why would you want to come to see you? So, I put them right behind me as I announced the women's championship tournament on the Kean tournament championship against Albright. They enjoyed it. They loved it.
And your grandfather was telling me he knew Tom Kane. He came across Tom Kane, or
he knows everyone, man.
Yeah. He's like, oh, so I was like, oh, this guy his school's named after?
If you let him, he would talk for an hour if you let him keep going. Rich, he's great. I love him. But
so what's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
It's not even close. It is stuffing. I love it. I could eat just stuffing and be happy. I mean, that's how good it is. How about you?
Mashed potatoes.
That's not a bad choice.
That's all I'll eat Thanksgiving. I'm not really
love it.
Like, just keep the turkey, keep everything. Just throw a bunch of mashed potatoes on my plate. I'm good to go.
Dude, my plate is ridiculously big. I'm just a slob. I really. That's what I eat like on Thanksgiving. It's my favorite meal, man. And I'm Italian. My favorite meal should be pasta and meatballs. No, it's Thanksgiving. Every Thanksgiving, love it. So,
and then we get to come back in 2 weeks and
we
talk about everything that's happened.
Unfortunately, we do have that. We're not coming in here on Thanksgiving.
You and Rob could.
Yeah, but Rob, you want to meet up here Thanksgiving? No, he's shaking his head like, I see this guy enough. But yeah, so we're off next week, obviously, and we'll be back on Thursday the 5th. So that's that. Rich, anything else to add?
Goodbye. Good riddance. You know what I'm talking about? Ellsbury.
Oh, Jacoby Ellsbury's
Goodbye.
gone. Love
Good riddance.
it. Yes.
Have a great holiday. It was nice to know you. Life goes on.
Yes. No more Jacoby Ellsbury. As the Yankee fans were happy about that.
No more boggling up a roster spot.
Yeah.
Or
I love Cashman, but that was the worst deal he's ever, or the worst signing he's ever made in his life. Oh, that was a nightmare. But yeah, Jacoby Ellsbury.
I'm hearing rumors of Lindor going to the Yankees.
I've heard that too.
So it should be interesting.
That would definitely mean Didi's not back. Do you think he's gone either way, Didi? You don't think they're bringing him back?
I think the contract. I think his contract will probably have to roughly be around DJ's.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why they let him go. Not 17, 18 million.
You're
somewhere
right.
around 11 million.
I think you're right.
But if you get Lindor, man, I don't want to go. Didi's just the heart and soul.
Dude, Didi is
it's so hard.
He's a fan favorite for a reason.
Yeah, he's the heart and soul, and I always look forward to his emojis after the game.
I know
his emoji report.
I know, and I just
But
love
how do you
listening
say no
to
to
him.
Lindor too?
That's tough.
But then what about pitching?
What about pitching? Yeah, we haven't talked about the obvious thing.
Yeah,
they need to sign Garrett Cole. They need to sign Strasburg or somebody. Strasburg or Cole need to be signed. I'm sorry, they need a pitcher.
And then, of course, now I can say I truly feel we should have been in the World Series because clearly Houston was out there stealing signals.
I am so mad. And if you follow me on Twitter, John _Mastice 4, you'll see me every day.
Stop dirtying up the game.
So messed up.
That's the only way they knew they could beat us. Look, John.
Unbelievable.
I knew we had a World Series team. All of a sudden, we couldn't hit.
I mean,
all of a sudden,
I don't know. I don't know if they did it in 2019. They could have.
If they did it once, they did it twice.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. We know they did it in 2017.
If we beat them, they definitely didn't do it.
We know they did it in 2017. What?
And now the manager of the Mets.
My anger cannot
was a big part of that.
Yeah, Carlos Beltran.
Yeah, a big part of it.
And he's not going to get. He's not going to get disciplined. MLB's not going to do anything. They better do something to the Astros. I'm telling you, if they don't do anything to the Astros, first of all, Astros are already done. Their reputation done forever.
Shot.
But if the MLB doesn't do anything to the Astros, strip them of something. Take away draft. They're gonna.
But what hurts though is that regardless of you can strip away. We don't get those chances back.
Exactly.
We were robbed.
That's what,
of these young gentlemen's careers, the judges.
Exactly.
A DJ LeMahieu historical season.
And how about these pitchers in the regular season that came into Houston, got hit around because they were cheating, and now they get sent down. They don't get an MLB career because they were judged on the games they pitched in Houston. How messed up is that?
Not only that, but all you kept hearing for years is, oh, these pitchers go to Houston and they're amazing. These hitters go to Houston and they're amazing because of the analytics. There was no analytics. It was banging on the trash can.
Yeah. I mean, I can't speak for the pitchers because
look,
I don't think it helped the pitchers.
No, but I believe if they were still, who knows how far this goes that they were able to.
I don't doubt it. At this point, I don't doubt anything. It's insane. I think it's ridiculous that it was able to go on in the MLB for so long without it coming out to the public. I mean, we had heard rumors. I never thought that could be true. I didn't think it could be pulled off until now. Now we know that the Houston Astros cheated, and my anger can't be, properly placed over the airways. But trust me, it's there, and I'm angry about it.
All right, John.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Let's wrap it up with that. This has been the Kean Sports Show with John and Rich. We'll be back Thursday, December 5th. Until then, take it easy, everyone. See you next time.